All right.
What's up, guys? You know what it is. It's HoodTac, and today we're gonna learn how to change our sights. Before anything, I just want to say that this video is sponsored by
Mom's chest hair.
absolutely no one, and we're gonna get started on that note. So we have our Glock here, 19, easy, common handgun. We're gonna make sure it's clear first and foremost. Finger always off the trigger. We're gonna put our slide back. Look in there, make sure there's no bullet in there, in the hole, whatever. There's no mag. Pull our trigger, safe direction. Now we're gonna remove our slide. You have to remove your slide to do this. So we're gonna pull our slide back just a little bit, pull our notches down, let the slide go home, and then boom. Now our slide is assembled. We're gonna put our frame to the side, take our guide rod out, put that to the side, take our barrel out, put that to the side, and now we have a pretty much stripped slide, with the exception of the internals, the firing pin and yada yada yada, ejector, whatever, extractor, I'm sorry. So pretty much the tools you'll need for this, it's going to be your front sight removal tool. It's a special tool because as far as I know, most of these sights have a screw on the bottom. You probably can't see it, I don't know if you can, but there's a screw on the bottom and you have to unscrew this. It's nice and textured. I bought it from True Glow. You could probably get one for like 12 bucks, bro, and it'll pay for itself in the long run, from you being able to remove your sights without damaging the screws or breaking anything. The second tool and last tool that you would need is going to be a sight pusher tool. Now it looks complicated, it really is not, bro. It really is not. You can get one of these off of Amazon or eBay for maybe around 30 bucks for a decent one. I mean, unless you're running a gunsmithing shop or something, or you're an FFL dealer, all you need is a basic, you know, a basic piece. And like I said, this is called a sight pusher tool, okay, just in case you go to try and look that up. So first, what we're gonna do, there's all these notches and everything on there and measurements. I don't do that. I just eyeball the shit. It's common sense. You push your sight over till it's in the middle and it's set. You know, it's pretty common sense. The front sight, it automatically will set itself, you know, in there, and then you just tighten it up. You don't have to do any special stuff with that, short of just removing it with the sight tool. So actually we're gonna do that first. So we're gonna put this in there. It's a little like hexagon piece. You're gonna put that, push it up in there, and it'll lock it, and it'll lock in. And there we go. Now sometimes these have Loctite on them, so you might have to, you know, give it a nice little crank. But just remember, it's like anything else, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Left to the loosens it up, to the right tightens it. And there we go. Look at that. It didn't even, I didn't have to break nothing. Now I can almost guarantee you, since these are stock Glock sights, that they Loctited these, which I do recommend, and I'll show you that at the end of the video. I do have Loctite there. Now I'm not technically going to be changing to different sights. I'm just going to take these off and put them back on, just for the sake of showing you guys how to do this. Now as I'm loosening this screw, I'm going to turn the slide upside down, this way it doesn't go falling out and you lose it, because if you lose that, then you got to order another sight screw. So just so you can see, it's this little like square thingy, really small screw. Now we're going to put that to the side, and now our sight, it's been in there a little bit, so You should probably have something small, maybe you can push on the other end to put it out. I don't really have anything right now on me, so I'm gonna have to just try to get that bitch out of there. Wiggling it back and forth seems to help.
Approximately 10 hours later.
Alright, I did have to run up in the house and get my multi-tool. I would recommend maybe having some pliers. This I've never changed these sights out, so they're in there from the factory, really set. Wiggle it back and forth a little bit, and it looks like they actually use red Loctite, not blue Loctite. I could be mistaken, but that looks like red Loctite to me. Red Loctite, you have to get out with heat, from my understanding, which I've had experience with that before. And blue Loctite, you don't. So we're gonna put our sight to the side. It's I think these are Ameriglow or something like that. No, it's just Glock tritiums. But we're gonna put that front sight to the side. Now we're gonna take our front sight tool. Let's see. Sorry guys. Take our front sight tool. This is the front where the notches are, and we're gonna move that guy over. You're just gonna keep turning this lever right here. Now we're gonna take our slide and you're gonna insert it just like that. See how it kind of like levels out right where the sights are? The reason is because now we're gonna go back the other way. Set this down, and if you have like a bench or something where you work on your firearms, you can bolt this down. There's little holes on the side, but you're gonna keep pushing, and now it's gonna start getting stiff. But that's a good thing, because that means our sight is pushing out. If you can see, it already started pushing out a bit. It doesn't, honestly, it might look like I'm struggling here because I'm trying not to break this glass table at the same time, but it actually pushes out. You know, it's not like I'm using crazy force. Yeah, it's a little, you know, you feel it in your forearm a little bit, but so now I'm gonna hold this so it doesn't drop on the table because the sight is starting to come out. Now notice I didn't have to do all the measurements or anything stupid. I just centered it. I made sure this was level because there's a notch that moves it up and down or whatever, and I'm just pushing it out, bro. And it actually gets easier and easier the further I get. It loosens up because the middle is a little more tight. And I just dropped the sight, but that means it's out. So now I'm gonna put this back here. Try to actually. Bear with me guys, I'll probably speed up this part of the video a little bit. Now we can take our, now that is our stripped slide, stripped of sights. You see how easy that was? There aren't any screws holding it back on a Glock. I can't speak for other firearms, but I know none of my Glocks or Glock clones have screws that hold the back sight. It's actually pretty tight. If you can see, it tapers in, so that thing don't move, bro. All right, now we're gonna start back from the ground up, and we have our tritium sights here, and we're gonna get ready to put it back in there. right before the indent goes for you to get the sight in there. Tighten this up. This knob pushes that thing secure. This way the slide is not, not that there's any flex or anything. Now let me, before I start, show you what I got going on here. I'm just sitting the sight there, you know what I mean, right before the slide. And actually what we can do with this lever and push the slide up just a little bit, just so it's touching the sight pusher part. Now we're going to start cranking. Now you can see as I'm cranking, the sight is starting to fit into the slide, so it's getting tighter. You guys don't need to see my fat rolls. Oh, wrong way. Alright, so we're gonna keep cranking until we see that it's even on both sides. Like, I don't even feel comfortable pointing an empty slide at my face. It feels very uncomfortable, so I'm actually not going to do that.
So why didn't I flinch? Because the laws of science differ fundamentally from those of...
And it actually looks pretty even. So now we're going to loosen up our slide so we can take it out. All three of these knobs move in some type of direction. I'm going to put my thumb in here just to hold it so it doesn't fall and bust through the glass table. Loosen that up, and if you notice, I'm loosening it up, the floor is lowering. That's to adjust size for different, different size firearms or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Now we're going to put our front sight back in. So as you can see, that's pretty even. It's not rocket science, it's common sense, bro. You make sure it's even on both sides. The way I did it is I made sure there was an even amount of space on each side of the slide, and it looks like it's damn near perfect. It's good enough for me. So what we're gonna do now is take our front sight and we're gonna fit that back in the hole. That's what she said. Give it a little press down. Now we got that sitting in there. You gotta put that screw on. If you don't put that screw in there, or you forget, or you're like, oh, it's snug, whoop, let me get back, it's gonna fly off. You know what I mean? So next step, we have our front sight sitting in there, and we're gonna take blue Loctite. So if you don't know where you can get blue Loctite, you can get it at any hardware store, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever, Harbor Freight. They all carry blue Loctite. It's a thread locker. Even Walmart has it. You can get it for probably like $6 or something like that. It basically hardens up. You put it on the threads of the screw, and it hardens up and keeps the screw from backing out. like shaking out, it makes it a lot harder because there's something there. If you don't have Loctite, what you can use is nail polish. I don't know how much better that would work, but I've heard from multiple people that you can use nail polish and they were pretty, you know, decent folks. So you're gonna put a little bit on the screw. You don't have to saturate it and like fucking dunk it, just like I just did. But alright, so look, I got my Loctite thread locker, whatever, on the screw. And actually what I'm gonna do, instead of trying to squeeze my fat fingers in there and put it in that hole, so she said, I'm gonna just put it on the sight tool, on the front sight tool, if I can get that going. Now we still got our thread locker on there. I'm gonna take my finger, hold on to the front sight, and now I'm gonna start screwing it in. And as I'm screwing it in, I can feel the sight flexing a little bit because it's tightening down. Now what you don't want to do is strip the screw. So I usually go pretty tight and then I stop, or maybe a little tighter, but then I stop. You don't want to sit there cranking it because you'll strip the screw, and then guess what, you got to get it drilled out. You know what I mean? You put Loctite on there, it's screwed in nice and secure. The Loctite's gonna harden up. You know, it's not gonna take long to harden up. Maybe like an hour, it should be hardened up enough. And that front sight is not gonna go anywhere. I do this to all my guns. I have yet to have a sight fly off on me. But as you can see, we're gonna take our slide like we're some type of fucking armorer professional. Looks good to me. Time to operate. But oh, almost forgot. So now we're gonna reassemble. If you accidentally use too much Loctite, just take a Q-tip or something and clean it off in there. Our slide back, our guide rod back, and we're good to go. Thanks for watching. That's pretty much all I got.